Good Monday afternoon. This is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. I want to give you an update on the severe potential for this afternoon and evening. It's not real high, but it does exist. So I wanted to run you through that, especially since I wasn't able to get a forecast done for you yesterday. So here's a look at current radar. This is about 1240 as I'm doing this video. So, it's going to be a little outdated by the time you see it, but you can kind of see storm activity percolating already out to our southwest and west. And it's not even really into prime time for storm activity yet. So right now it's somewhat linear, but we will need to watch as we get into the afternoon to see if any individual cells start to pop up out ahead of this, or even within these embedded things where you see these cells that can pop up kind of separate from everything else. We'll keep an eye on those. The main threats are going to be damaging winds and small to medium sized hail here. But I'll show you the Storm Prediction Center outlook here in a minute. They've got a tornado risk to our northwest. Depending on how these storms fire off this afternoon and early evening, I wouldn't put us at a 0% risk, but it's pretty low. So here's the Storm Prediction Center outlook for this afternoon and evening primarily. Again, the northern half of Indiana is in a marginal risk for severe. And so it's technically a low end risk, but some of our bigger outbreaks have actually happened on marginal days where the ingredients are there, but things aren't perfect. And so it's really hard to get behind thinking that something's going to blow up, and then sometimes just the right trigger happens and sets it off. So I don't want you to have to not be on guard just because the risk is marginal. Here's the tornado outlook. And actually, since the last time I looked at this, they actually have now brought that tornado risk down to encompass Madison County as well. A 2 to 4% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point. No strong tornadoes are expected, but of course, even a small tornado can do quite a bit of damage to whatever it hits. Again, the risk is low, but it does exist. Here's the look at the severe winds. Again, the primary threats are a little farther to the north. There's some ingredients that won't inhibit the storm development quite as much back to the to our north and west, and those areas are closer to the front as well. So the greater risks are, again, to our north and to our west. But we will keep an eye on things here for Madison County. And then here's a look at the hail outlook. And again, not a great risk here at 5 to 14% risk of hail within 25 miles of a given point. So yeah, all it takes is for one hail producer in or near Madison County, and this outlook is right. I'll have to explain how these outlooks work sometime when we're not worried about severe. So that's kind of the way that those are the outlooks right now. Let's take a look at synoptic weather. None of the models are doing super great. Again, you can see the coverage that's going on right now. And the high resolution rapid refresh HRRR is maybe doing the best, but you can see it is way underdone. So this is at 1 p.m. Let me turn this timestamp on for you. Again, if you haven't checked it out, this is from my friends at BAM Weather. They've created this synoptic weather. It's synopticwx.com. You can access several forecast models within there. They're adding a lot of great tools. It's in beta right now, so you sign up, but it's free right now, so why not check it out? But here's a look at 1 p.m. And again, you can see it's very underdeveloped compared to what the actual radar shows. But this was probably the best on location. So we'll just roll with this and just know that the coverage is going to be greater than this. Here's by 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Now, the HRRR kind of kills off most of the activity up here. I do think we still need to watch for pop-ups all along here. And those pop-ups, if we're going to have any sort of tornado risk down this far to the south and east, it's going to be with isolated pop-ups late this afternoon, and early this evening. So no model is going to do very well with this stuff. Um, and it goes on through 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and then it begins to develop activity better as we get into the evening, as the warm air along the surface begins to rise ahead of the front, and that front approaches us. And so here's by 11 p.m., we could still be looking at some storms. But again, I think by the time we get to this point, severe is not totally ruled out, but the risk is lower. You can kind of tell this is leading edge of the front, kind of a trailing edge of the front. And this gets through. This is by 4 a.m. That's all moving out of there. Again, to me, the severe risk begins for Madison County, you know, by after about 4 p.m. or so. In my opinion, by the time we're hitting 11 p.m., we should be out of the woods for severe. But yeah, there could still be some noisy storms overnight, and we'll just have to see how this develops because, again, the ingredients are not great. So you never know. You can have a small amount of ingredient, but if the right thing lights it, you can end up with a big problem. But if nothing ignites it, then you just end up with thunderstorms. So that's kind of the way that's looking. And I'll show you, I'll go to a longer range model after this just to kind of show you what we're going to be looking at for our election day tomorrow too. So I'll back this up. Here's the NAM 3K. And again, this is at 1 p.m. So again, this is much better developed right now as we look at radar. Again, taking a look at radar, you can see how things are versus what the model has, what any of the models have. They're just not picking this up very well. That said, let's move on from here. And as we get into 4 p.m., 5 p.m., the NAM 3K may be doing a better job of at least indicating that there could be some of these pop-ups. And again, if we see something like this, start to develop, that's what we're going to be watching for if there's going to be any kind of a tornadic risk here for Madison County or surrounding counties. And then we can see the activity. Here's 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m. It's not nearly as aggressive with the later evening stuff. And as we get into tomorrow morning, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., you can see most activity is winding down, but then watch what begins to happen by late morning. We've got another wave that comes through. So here's 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon, 1 p.m. And you can see we just begin all through tomorrow afternoon. We see just pockets of light to moderate rain, maybe occasionally heavy. Here's by 11 p.m. Tuesday night, getting into early hours of Wednesday, and you can see yet another wave come along the surface that could bring us some moderate to heavy rain again. And this lasts all the way into late morning on Wednesday. So probably from late morning Tuesday to late morning Wednesday, we can be looking at periods of moderate to heavy rain. Sometimes it may do it for a couple of hours. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Again, the primary concern is going to be it's a severe threat from, again, in my opinion, 4 p.m. this afternoon through about 11 p.m. this evening. And we'll just have to see how this all develops. As always, if I need to go live, I will. And I'll be keeping an eye on it. And then I will get a forecast to you, a 7-day forecast to you this evening as well. This is Michael Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. Thank you so much to those of you who support the page. Thank you so much to our page sponsors and those of you who have stepped up here recently and made some donations to the page. It's been extremely helpful. If you don't donate and you can, please see the pinned post at the top of the Facebook page and the top of the X page. There are several ways you can donate, or if you want to mail a check, you can reach out to me in the DMs and I'll send you my address. So again, please support the page, and thank you so much to those of you who do. And I will update you later if I need to go live or if anything develops.